The world's greatest comic magazine, The Fantastic Four, featuring the Mad Thinker and his awesome android. Let none of the Fantastic Four leave alive. The Thinker commands it. He's turning our own weapons against us. We haven't a chance. Not only has the Mad Thinker taken over the Fantastic Four's headquarters, but he's beaten them at their own game. Just wait. Sooner or later, I'll get my mitts on you. Just wait. The Fantastic Four battle the Mad Thinker and his awesome android. A book-length saga. The android. Neither animal, nor vegetable, nor mineral. What is it? Script: Stan Lee. Art: Jack Kirby. Inking: Dick Ayers. Lettering: Art Simek. And now, read on. You are now experiencing one of the most exciting moments in magazine reading. The start of an all-new Fantastic Four adventure. This is New York, home of the famous Baxter Building, which houses the Fantastic Four skyscraper headquarters. Suddenly, a lean, powerful hand fires a bright flare into the evening sky. And our adventure into fantasy begins. Look! The red alert signal of the Fantastic Four! Not far away, in a quiet lane in Central Park, we find a teenager and his date. Of course I'm angry, Johnny. Do you know how many dates you've broken with me? Ah, Peggy. You know I couldn't help it. But I'm here now, and there's a moon above us, and you sure look gorgeous. Oh, Johnny, how I've longed for this wonderful moment. Great balls of fire! At a time like this? Sorry, Peg. I'll have to leave you for a while. Hope you can drive. Flame on! Oh no! Not again! End. In a Chi-Chi beauty parlor on 5th Avenue. I just know I've seen that girl somewhere. Ah, Miss Storm. Now for the supreme moment. I personally shall create your new hairdo. I have cancelled all other appointments so that I could devote myself entirely to you today. Read signal. It means come a-running, no matter what. Wait! You can't do this to me! I shall destroy myself! You and me both, Pierre. I've waited months for our appointment. Better turn invisible. I can't run through the streets with curlers in my hair. And what of the gentle, good-natured, peace-loving member of the Fantastic Four? Ah, here he is, as lovable and shy as ever. Send me a picture like this, will they? When I get through with that crummy Yancey Street gang, it'll take a blotter to mop 'em up. The thing is a sissy, the Yancey Street gang. Look! There's the thing! So, the ugly lump got our love letter. Yoo-hoo! Pretty boy! Here we are! We're waiting for you, fathead! It's them! On the roof! Don't go away, creeps! I'll toss you a little bouquet! Cripes! Just when the party was getting started. We knew it! He's scared of us. Where you going, thing? Home to get help? Aw, did the nice little thing forget to bring his nursemaids? Ha ha! So help me. One of these days. One of these days. Minutes later, at the Fantastic Four's ready room. Come in, Ben. We've been waiting for you. Reed didn't want to explain until we were all together. Well now, ain't that real neighborly of him? Okay, now what's this all about, Reed? Looks to me like Rubberface just likes to shoot his little flare gun. Why don't you take up a new hobby? Like playing in traffic. Yeah. Why the red alert? Doesn't look like an emergency to me. Suppose you both button up for a while and give me a chance to explain. I didn't want to interrupt what I was doing any more than you did. I'm right in the middle of a crucial experiment with DNA, the basic cells which are the building blocks of life itself. I've already managed to create a primitive form of one-celled life, which lived for a few seconds. Do you think I feel like stopping now? But I received an urgent call from the chief of police. His department reports that top mobsters and gang leaders from all over the country are flocking to New York. There's something big in the wind, and he wants us alerted. And even as Mr. Fantastic speaks, it's exactly 12:42 p.m. They should be entering in 1½ seconds. 1½ seconds later. Okay, Thinker. Here we are. Start the ball rolling. It ain't healthy for us to be together under one roof. And no funny stuff, see? We got boys posted all around this joint. Quiet, you guys. The Thinker is thinking. These are my thoughts. I have summoned you to help me form a gigantic kingdom of crime, with me as the king. For, with my fabulous brain, and my infallible computing machines, I can outplan the law at every turn. Until this moment, the police have not even dreamt of my existence, but I shall remain hidden no longer. With you, the most powerful gang leaders of all, I shall devise a foolproof plan to capture and take control of New York City itself. I will proclaim New York an independent nation with me as its ruler, and you shall be my crime enforcement officers. My plan cannot fail, for I have worked it out to the last detail on my computing machines. I shall even appoint ambassadors to other American cities. I will sign treaties with the rest of America and negotiate trade and foreign aid pacts. These are the Thinker's terms. You better accept them if you don't want a war on your hands. It sounds interesting, Thinker, but you forgot one little detail. You don't suppose the Fantastic Four will be twiddling their thumbs while all this is going on? The Thinker forgets nothing. Yeah? Well, if anyone can boot you out from under that crown you're counting on, Mr. Fantastic's the guy to do it. Nobody's ever beaten him yet. And then there's the Human Torch. No matter how smart you are, he'll find some way to give you the hottest throne in history. I wouldn't want to mess around with him. And even if you put them out of action, don't forget the Invisible Girl. What's to stop her from sneaking up on you anytime, unseen, and taking you by surprise? The way I see it, you'll be lucky if you're caught by one of them, because I figure it would be a lot better than letting the Thing get his paws on you. Silence, you intellectual pygmies! Don't you think I've already planned how to get the Fantastic Four out of the way? I never overlook any detail. Look at these banks of computers, the greatest array of thinking machines ever assembled under one roof, and all for one purpose: to make me the king of crime. My machines and I have already devised a foolproof plan, not only to rid us of the Fantastic Four, but also to take over their headquarters with all its priceless secrets. My master plan has been worked out to the last minute detail. Nothing has been left to chance. With the aid of my calculators, I know everything that has ever happened. And most important of all, I can predict everything that ever will happen, down to the last split second. Fact obvious, fact remote, fact incidental, observations, possibilities, probabilities, weather, wind velocity, tidal pull, Sunspots. Don't you remember that $1 million bank haul I pulled last year? It succeeded because I knew a hot dog vendor would pass by at just the right split second. Don't shoot, boys. We're liable to hit that guy with the pushcart. And remember the time I escaped a pursuing patrol car because a water main burst just as I had driven by? Well, I knew it was about to burst at that moment. It was part of my plan. Just as it was part of my plan to know that an organ grinder's monkey would accidentally start a fire in a deserted shack, thereby burning some valuable papers which contained enough evidence to send me to jail for years. That's why I am the Thinker. Yeah? Well, you may be snowing these other jokers, but I ain't buying. I'm cutting out. Naturally. I knew you would. Nuts. You're just a lot of talk. Anytime something happens, you say you expected it. You're just a phony, Mac. Am I? In exactly 18 seconds, you will realize how wrong you were. Now get out. And exactly 18 seconds later. Well, if it isn't Blackie Scar. How nice of you to walk right into us this way. The feds! I'm trapped! The Thinker knew this would happen. Those machines of his really work. What a chump I was. I trust you gentlemen observed what has just transpired below. And right to the second. Just like you said. Looks like you really are all that you claim to be, Thinker. Okay, Thinker. We're with you all the way. But how are you going to handle the Fantastic Four? I've been working on that project for months. Watch. Each member of the Fantastic Four is a separate and distinct problem, and I fed my computers all the available data about them. After careful analysis, my machines and I have come up with these solutions. Problem 1. The Human Torch. I've arranged for 2 men to arrive in New York at this very moment. According to my calculations, they will do our job for us. Mighty big town, ain't it, Shorty? You said it, Bones. There he is now. Right on time. Hi, Cousin Johnny. Cousin Bones. Welcome to New York. Man, he sure is a corker, isn't he? Look at him flame around up there. Flame off. I got your telegram. What's the trouble, cousin? It's my circus, Cousin Johnny. All of a sudden, business has dropped off. I need me a real star attraction to get the crowds back again, or else I'll lose everything. I was wondering about you, Johnny. Gosh, a chance to be a circus star? If only I could. Problem 2. Mr. Fantastic. At the executive offices of General Electronics Ltd. Gentlemen, we need a scientific genius to head our electronic research division. Whom do you suggest? Beats me, Roger. Top research specialists just don't grow on trees. I can't think of a man in the field who's big enough for the job. At that moment, as though prearranged by fate, a janitor carelessly lays a copy of a magazine he had been reading on a massive oak desk. Well, keep working on it, gentlemen. We must find the right man for the job. And soon. I'll just leave this here for a few minutes while I mop up the hall. Then, just as the Thinker knew it would, the brightly colored cover catches the industrialist's eye, and... Cartwright! Van Dorn! Come here! I found the man we're looking for. In the Fantastic Four comic magazine. What do you mean, Roger? Of course! We should have thought of it before! Reed Richards, the most gifted inventive genius of our time. We'll send for him immediately. Problem 3. The Thing. In a local gym, A shifty-eyed wrestling manager makes Ben Grimm a tempting offer. I tell you, Thing, if you sign up with me, we can make a fortune. You'd be the biggest wrestling attraction since Strangler Lewis. Yeah, I know. It sounds good, but I got other things to do. That's so. Could be you're afraid to meet Fatal Finnegan, the idol of the Yancey Street Gang. Me? Afraid? I don't like that kind of talk, Squirt. Now just you wait till I get back. I gotta talk this over with my partners. Sure thing. I'll hang around. Problem 4. The Invisible Girl. At the entrance to a local orphanage, where Sue Storm has just entertained the children. Blast it, Higgins! I'm a half hour late for rehearsal. How did we wind up in this out-of-the-way neighborhood? I don't know, sir. It's as though someone deliberately put up detour signs all over the city. Shall I call the theater and tell them to hold up the auditions until... Hang the auditions! I found the girl I'm looking for to star in my new show. I must hire her, at any cost. Later that day, at their headquarters, 3 restless, thoughtful people wait for the 4th to arrive. I don't want to bust up the team, but it sure would be a kick to pulverize Fatal Finnegan in a wrestling match. A chance to star in a Broadway show. How can I turn it down? I'll bet most any kid in the world would jump at a chance to join a circus. And Cousin Bones really needs me to help him get back on his feet. He says it's almost as though someone had been planning for his show to fail, because he'd had a dozen serious accidents lately. Anyhow, things are slow around here lately, and it sure would be a gas to meet all those cool circus chicks. I'll bet I could be a one-man show with all these tricks I thought up. Hey, Brat! Stop smoking up the joint, will ya? Aw, go fry your hat, Big Mouth. Look out! That does it! I'm gonna douse that flame of yours. And then... Thing! Torch! Knock it off! Heck, Reed! This is the most fun anyone's had around here for days. Let's face it, pal. Johnny's right. We ain't cut out for twiddling our thumbs. We're all getting restless. Yes, perhaps we all need a vacation. I was about to suggest the same thing. Maybe a temporary separation would do us all some good. That's the coolest. But what about those mobsters hitting New York, and the trouble we're supposed to be watching for? We can always return to home base in a hurry. I can be reached at General Electronics, in New England. Me? I'll be traveling through the South with the Bones and Bailey Circus. You'll read about me in the papers. I'm gonna be the next sensation of the grunt and groan circuit in the Midwest. And I'll be in Hollywood, rehearsing for my very first starring role. Ha. And so, unsuspected by the Fantastic Four, all the tiny details of the Thinker's master plan fall neatly into place. He has won the first round of a fight, which the colorful quartet doesn't even know it is fighting. You know something? This is the first time we ever busted up. It's a spooky feeling. You're right, Ben. We'll get together again after a while. At last I can dress the way I've always wanted to. Never thought I'd say this, small fry, but I'm gonna miss you. Sure, you big lug. Nobody else would put up with you. Take care of yourself, big fella. For 2 cents, I tried to get him to call the whole thing off. Nuts. What's the matter with me? It ain't the end of the world. Everybody needs a vacation sometime. And now, back to the man whose meticulous planning has brought about the events you have just witnessed. Back to the Thinker. It is now exactly 3 minutes after 4. They should just be leaving their headquarters at this moment. Okay, Thinker. Let's say they are. So what good does that do us? Yeah, what's our next move? How do we take over the city? The very forces of nature herself will help us. My machines have calculated the course of an approaching meteor, which will strike New York Harbor in exactly 15 seconds. I knew of this impending event weeks ago, and included it in my plans. It will be our signal to strike. At the precise split second predicted by the Thinker, a hurtling meteor does indeed plummet into the waters outside of New York's lower bay. Although no one is injured, the shock of impact causes a temporary panic among the populace. What happened? What was that? Maybe we're being attacked. It must be war. Minutes later, as the shock wears off, the truth is learned and the panic ends. But a new danger appears. The violent earth tremor has knocked out all electric power in the sprawling city and caused numerous small fires and explosions. Wow! Did one little meteorite do all that? Look! All the streetlights have gone out, and there are flames in Central Park. It'll take hours to get things back to normal in Midtown New York. And, taking advantage of the confusion, the Thinker and his men invade the now deserted stronghold of the Fantastic Four. You were right, Thinker. With the electricity knocked out, none of Mr. Fantastic's protective devices are working. This is the only time his headquarters could be broken into. And due to my foolproof planning, we were able to cash in on it. Ah, what a vast treasure trove of science this is, and all its secrets shall now be mine. This is even better than I expected. Here are Mr. Fantastic's notes concerning his work with DNA, the building blocks of life itself. Using this information, I should be able to create a new form of life, one which will serve only the Thinker. But let us take our leave of the Thinker for a while, and view a scene which takes place days later in the northern part of Florida. It's amazing! Ever since the Torch has been the star of our circus, we've played to capacity crowds at every show. Yay! Look at that! The Torch can do anything! More! And now, for his final act, the Fantastic Human Torch will perform every known circus stunt at the same time. But when the final performance of the day is ended, in the solitude of his room, Johnny Storm begins to brood. I never realized how empty the sound of applause can be. Same old act, day after day. I can't take much more of it. I wonder how the others are doing now. And, as for the others, our scene now shifts to a movie location on the West Coast. Okay, Miss Storm, this is the final take. Remember, you're the first female in space, lost on an unknown planet. Roll 'em. More schmaltz, baby. Give him more emotion. Come on. Look scared. And I always thought acting would be fun. What a fool I was. Look out! That prop monster's foot is shaking too much. Wheel's coming loose. We'll have to shoot it over again. Cut! While in a New England electronics lab. Say, what's going on here, Richards? Forgive me if my methods are a little unorthodox. I like to examine my apparatus from the inside, as well as the outside. We'll need this much more clearance on all future devices, according to my estimates. Do you have to emphasize your point so dramatically, Richards? This is a laboratory, not a carnival. Well, stay at it. I'll check your progress tomorrow again. Good day. And I thought this was what I wanted. I realize now that I'm just not cut out to work for anyone else. I've got to do things my own way. without interference. And, at a Midwestern sports arena, the Thing also realizes that being on his own isn't quite the ball he thought it would be. Hey, big brain, how long do I have to waltz this baboon around the ring? Until I tell you to stop. We gotta give the fans a show for their money. Hey, Ugly, look at that blonde tootsie in the front row. After I'm through with you up here, I'm gonna go and get me a date with that doll. Va-va-voom! You crummy creep! That's Alicia! That's my girl you're talking about! I'll show you who's gonna date Alicia! Hey! Stop! Cut it out! This ain't in the script! Help! If you still want to meet Alicia after you come back from my boomerang throw, then we'll talk it over. Here he comes. Now to give him a nice warm reception. You can't do this to me! I demand a rematch! Oh. Come on, kid. We're going home. If that's what wrestling is, you can have it. Me? I'll stick to tiddlywinks. And so, the colorful quartet, as though by prearranged signal, all return to their home base, the bustling metropolis of New York, at the same time. So long, Alicia. See you later. Boy, am I glad to see you all again. Even you, Ben. And as they reach the mighty Baxter Building, I've got to admit, it feels wonderful to be back in harness. If you ever hear me knock these uniforms again, just... Hey! Look! What's happened to our headquarters? The whole building has turned into a gigantic crystal. But how? What does it mean? It's incredible. The very elements of the building themselves have been transmuted. This is a new, unknown substance. I can't even poke a hole through it. A thing like that can give a guy a complex. It's heat resistant too. This means we're locked out of our own headquarters. I'll probe for cracks. Perhaps there's a weak spot somewhere. Booey. That's too slow. Maybe I can just dig our way in. I'll be through this concrete sidewalk in no time. There's even more to this than meets the eye. Look at all the passers-by. No one seems to notice what's happened to the building. They don't even seem to see it. Suddenly, the face of the Thinker appears, projected right through the strange, shimmering crystal wall. Naturally, no one notices. I have an electronic hypno-ray field around this entire building. I've been expecting you. For I am the Thinker. The Thinker? I've modified my hypno-ray so that only you four are aware of my presence. For you are to be my greatest conquest. Once I have defeated the Fantastic Four, no power on Earth can stand in my way. Good grief. Another power-mad genius for us to contend with? True. But I have one advantage. I have the use of Mr. Fantastic's scientific research. Research which will now be turned against you. Look! He faded away, and he left an opening in the crystal for us to enter through. He means it. He wants us to get inside and fight him. He actually thinks he can beat us. Well, what are we waiting for? I'll just toss a speedy blue flame fireball in there, to make sure there aren't any little traps waiting for us. Good thing you did that, Johnny. He had an explosive device rigged up. Well, it's not gonna bother us anymore. So let's go and give that Thinker something to really think about. Torchio, pal? You're beginning to sound like me. And that's pretty good. You kidding? If I believed you, I'd never open my mouth again. Watch yourselves. No telling what little surprises the Thinker has for us. Here they come. Get 'em! Vibra-guns. My own invention. The Thinker must have found them in our arsenal. Take cover! Try to get out of range. The vibra-sound vibrations will sap all the strength from you until they run out of power. Oh, Reed. We can't let him beat us with your own weapons. Have no fear, baby. The thing is here. This'll stop those rays. They can't get through steel. And that's just what these special walls are made of. He's pulling those walls together, as if they're lace curtains. I don't want no part of him. Let me out of here. It is now 3:43 p.m. You have passed your first test, as I expected you would. But you still have to get to the 35th floor. Just sit tight, brother. We'll get there. You can bet on it. He didn't think he could stop us by shutting off the elevators. Did he? Take it easy, Ben. That's my skin you're hanging on to. Complaints. All I ever get is complaints. Reed, the Thinker has hurled some gas cylinders at us. It's not ordinary gas, Sue. I can tell by the odor. It's a formula of my own. Well, don't keep us in the dark, partner. What does it do? I created it to use against enemies, to defeat them without harming them. It affects your sense of balance, and of vision. It makes everything look distorted to you. Yeesh. I see what you mean. Thing, I have an idea. Quickly, while you still can. Wind Reed's body up. Twist him around. Hurry. Great idea, Susie gal. I've been wanting to do this to Pretty Boy for a long time. Faster, Ben. And tighter. That's it. I know what Sue is planning. It's the only thing to save us. Now let go! Ah! It worked. The force of your spinning body dispelled all the gas. We've reached the 35th floor. And there's the Thinker, watching us through our own view screen. What's he cooking up now? Looking down the long corridor, the Fantastic Four realize they will not have long to wait for their answer. For the love of Pete! What do you call that? Keep back, Ben. It seems to be alive. And yet, it certainly isn't human. Hey! Look at the size of it! And what kind of face has it got? It isn't a face. Merely a central gathering place of motor nerves and impulses. It's a form of artificial life, created by the Thinker from my own notes. It's less than human. And yet, in some ways, more than human. It's a living android. Wait, Johnny! Don't attack it yet! Not till we know more about it. Ah, what do I have to worry about from a big hunk like that? Suddenly, as the blazing torch flames towards it, the android spews forth a hurricane-intensity blast of wind. Yow! It's like flying into the mouth of a tornado. It's blowing out my flame. Step aside, playmates. As usual, I can see it's up to little old me to take care of this oversized rag doll. Hey! Now what's happening? I was afraid of that, Ben. The android has the power of mimicry built into it. It's turning into you. But it's a still bigger, stronger version of the thing. Duck, Ben. Get away from it. What do you think I'm trying to do, mister? Thanks, Sue, for helping me pull him out of the way. Luckily, the android is slow moving. We've got a few seconds to think of some way to defeat it. All of you, stay back now. The Thinker created him from my notes. In a way, he's my responsibility. And I'll find a way to nullify his power. Reed, I can't let you face that creature alone. If anything should happen to you. If I can't stop you, Sue, then at least turn invisible. It may save your life. I'll try to keep him immobile as long as I can. If I remember my notes correctly, His motor nerve terminal is on his right side, under his arm. You've got to press it, Sue. You mustn't miss. Can't hold him much longer. You did it, Sue. Your sensitive touch knocked out the android. Lucky for us that Sue was here. My fingers are too blunt. You couldn't free yours long enough, and the android would have seen the torch and kicked him away. It is 1 minute to 4. I calculated that you would be here at this second if you defeated the android. So far, my deductions have been perfect. That character seems to think this is one big game he's playing. We've got your men trapped behind a wall of steel downstairs, and now we're gonna put the kibosh on you, too. Did you expect me to be unprepared for your flame? The chemical in this gun, which I took from Mr. Fantastic's cabinet, will douse your flame. Forever. You call yourself the Thinker. Huh. You're not so much. All your weapons and powers are stolen from Mr. Fantastic. Fool. Only someone as brilliant as I would have been able to outsmart your leader. Who do you think it was who arranged for all of you to leave New York? It was me. I arranged everything down to the last detail. And now, at last, I am arranging your finish. I have a separate antimatter shell zeroed in on each of you. Again, thanks to Mr. Fantastic, who invented this potent weapon. And so, at this second, at exactly the stroke of 4, just as I had planned, the Fantastic Four will meet their... My gun! The shells! What has happened? We'll tell you all about it, laughing boy, after I mop up the place with you. Don't hurt him, Ben. He's powerless now. Quick, Johnny, destroy those deadly cylinders. I was hoping you'd ask. How? How did you do it? How did you beat me? Write him a letter, Reed. I'm itching to clobber him. You overlooked one thing in your plans, Thinker. There is always an X factor to prepare for. The unexpected. Not knowing what we'd find when we invaded our building, I contacted Mr. Lumpkin, our postman, and told him to ring a special downstairs bell at exactly 4 o'clock. I had previously set up an electrical circuit breaker which rendered all my equipment useless when that bell is rung, as a precaution against any enemy taking over my lab. You talk so much that I got over my anger. The X Factor. The unexpected. The human element. The one thing I didn't count on. I sent for the police, Reed. And so, next time it will be different. I shall plan for the X Factor too. And then nothing will foil me. What makes you think there'll be a next time, fella? Quite a homecoming. Eh, Sue? Well, there's never a dull moment anyway. Now hear this, kiddies. It's exactly 4 minutes after 4, and the menace of the Thinker is over. And we're all together again, as we should be. Wait till I get my fiddle, sis. I'll play Hearts and Flowers. For this, I gave up a career in showbiz. I ought to have my head examined. The end. The Fantastic Four pinup page. Sincerely, Ben, Reed, Sue, and Johnny.